Hey Taurus, it's Angela. We are going to do your October reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And also those of you who have Taurus in other predominant areas in your chart, or if you just skipped over here and found it, your intuition drew you here as well, and you were meant to receive this message as well. This is a general energy reading. It's soul guidance. It's not predictive. It's not psychic. We don't talk about outcomes or definitive timelines or anything. This is energy, which we know doesn't really know time. And when I'm off camera and I'm shuffling and preparing, I pull in the energy of Taurus, and this is what we come up with. Okay. Sometimes the messages aren't landing as solidly, and that's okay. You just find another reading. It doesn't have to be in this timeline. You could go back to June and pull a reading from there. And sometimes it resonates very much, right? So it just depends on when you happen upon it and what your situation is and where you are as far as preparedness to expand your soul in any one area. Sometimes you want to save things for another time, and that's okay too. Thank you for being here, and please keep doing the likes and the shares and the subscribes and all those things to help this channel get rolling. I appreciate you very much. And so let's get started with your reading. Okay, Taurus, we pull one oracle card and then expand on it in detail using the Zen-based tarot deck. And the oracle deck we're using this time is the Soul's Journey. And the card that I got for you, Taurus, Worry. Okay, it doesn't mean you're worried. I'm learning that worry doesn't change my outcome. Worry doesn't change an outcome. So that's interesting. You're talking, like, for me, when I used to be such a worrier, so much. I can remember as a child getting like stomach aches a lot just from worrying about whatever, about this person and what they thought and what my grades were going to be. And, what I worried about so much. It's like always just concerned about anything, what's going on in the neighborhood, whatever. And over time, obviously, I learned that that's really just not the best use of my energy, that it takes me into a lower vibration and does not allow for that breath and that space that we need in order to grow and evolve, to be present. It's more constrictive and it keeps us locked down. It weighs on our heart, it weighs on our mind, and our best acknowledgement is that, and the way they word it here is perfect. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Like you're on your way to this outcome, whatever it is. If you're applying yourself, if it's a project and you're trying to get all the details down, well, worrying your way through it and putting that extra burden on your heart and soul and mind isn't helping. It's actually slowing you down, right? So let's see what the Zen guidance says. And I don't know, if many of you are worrisome types. Maybe you are, but this is just a good reminder for us when we're finding ourselves, overly concerned with things in our lives. Okay. All right, so here we go. This is a tree spread. This is, two sets of branches here, and then the trunk down here is the key to the change, the key to the evolving and the growth. And we're going to start here. Okay, Taurus, your first card is control. Okay, so remember I said, I'm not sure if any of you are worrisome. Some of you are. Some of you do use worry or ruminate and let things move over and over in our heads as if it's going to control the outcome, as if it's going to make a difference in the path. And the only difference it really would make would be that it slows you down, as far as I can see. This energy here, this is a mind card. This is a mental card. And obviously worry is a mind energy as well. And with that need to control comes more of a locked down, hard edged, immovable vibration, right? And that isn't just affecting your mind, that's affecting your whole spirit. So this is something that we want to just shine a light on and call awareness to within us, so that we can, explore different ways to release that. Mainly the need to feel in control is really just I can't remember whose reading earlier touched on this, but the need to be in control is kind of like the biggest farce that humans buy into, because we don't control anything. The only thing you control is your presence and what you contribute energetically to your world, and how you show up and how you respond. It's all about you. That's the only thing you're really controlling. You're not controlling circumstances. You're not controlling outcomes. To a certain point, it feels like you are, right? But the universe is always a few steps ahead. It's always the one that's kind of throwing this stuff. Like, even if you say, I don't know, say like you're a teacher and your class gets out of control and it's chaos, and then you quiet, make them all sit straight, and you feel like you've controlled that, right? Well, you really think you're actually controlled all those people's energy? They complied, but you're not controlling them. Do you know what I mean? There's a difference there. And so that's really a false concept that we buy into, that we have any control or any power over a lot of this stuff that occurs in our lives. We have control over the way we respond to it, and the way we show up for it, and how we plot our way to make our way through it. We have control over that, but we're not actually controlling any other being or any other energy out there. So that's interesting. I like how that goes with the worry, though, because I think they go hand in hand sometimes. When we get a little more worried about outcomes or about things, we want to assert control, and that that slows us down. It just slows us down. We think it doesn't, but it does. Okay, within the energy that's within you and your inner being that is relating to this vibration of control is courage. And that's going to be, oh, I love this right now. Oh, look at how that's shaping up. So within you, you have a sense that now let me give you the concept of this courage card. This is not bravado. This isn't asserting yourself onto something to make something force through, like being having a courageous front. This concept here is more about being willing to be vulnerable, allowing vulnerability to shift and shape and move you forward. The seed that this flower once was lived down here in the boulder, way deep in the cracks. And it really could have just stayed that way forever, for all it knew. It was all protected and had a hard covering. It never really was bothered by many people, because it hid way down in the dark. But then the water started dripping down, right? A little bit of drops of rain and a little bit of sunlight came through, and it thought, okay, well, this water is softening my hard core. It's actually changing the nature of what I am. It's changing the makeup of that seed. But it allowed it, right? It made it feel a little vulnerable, but it allowed the water in, it allowed the growth to start taking place. And then soon enough, it transformed into something totally different. And this is what we mean by your inner courage, allowing for the vulnerability to be there, which is in direct contrast to the need to control, right? So when your mind tells you I got to control this. I've got to put this stuff into place, and I have to be the one that does it, which creates worry. Your inner being is kind of going, yeah, you really don't have to be that assertive. You really don't have to be that controlling. You can just trust, be a little vulnerable, allow the transformation to come, allow other ideas and thoughts and concepts to infuse into your experience so that it can help reshape you and move you into a more easeful way as you move through your life, and lessening that vibration of worry as well along the way. So I love that that's sitting right there in your inner being, in your sort of starting place layout here. And then this card here is the external sort of manifestation of the combination of these energies. And we got breakthrough. So yeah, come on. Control sits directly in the middle of the movement. Control is stuck energy, and it's right in the middle of the movement. So if you get the sense within you that, okay, I'm going to drop the need, I'm going to let myself be a little vulnerable here. I'm going to try not to worry, and I'm going to trust that the outcome will be fabulous for me if I just remain true to, this very moment, and then the next moment when the water comes in and feeds me, or, new energies come in to help me along my way. That leads to a direct breakthrough in your external world, in the persona that you are, in how you show up in the world. And this is powerful. This is powerful. This is like, oh, okay, I used to think the more I tried to control, the less I would have to worry. But what's really happening is those are going hand in hand. They are feeding off each other and making each other bigger, and more difficult to overcome. But within you, you get that, okay, I'm going to try something different here. I'm going to drop that need to control, and I'm going to let things happen as they are. I'm going to allow and let the vulnerability be there. It causes huge shifts for you. Okay. Now we get to shift down to the key here. This is the pivot in the whole spread. And this is the key to getting the elevated outlook on as it pertains to a worrisome mind. And that key is slowing down. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to let those thoughts keep coming in and coming in and coming in, right? That sort of take over you. You can just kind of back off of the whole thing and take those thoughts out of your mind and do something totally different. Go for a slow walk like the turtle, or get out in nature and just explore the world and be in present moment. Kind of like change the subject on your worry so that you add some breath into your existence, into your experience, so that then when the options and the signs come along, oh, I worried so much that I wasn't going to have, I don't know, enough room in my schedule next month to get everything done. And when I stopped trying to control all that, and I slowed down and I allowed for things to occur as they want, I had some cancellations, I had some holes in my schedule. I was able to fill that in with things that needed to get done, and I got it all done anyway, right? I'm just making that up, but that's kind of the vibration there. It's sort of like back off of it and allow for the universe to kind of participate a little bit and give you signs and little guideposts. So that slowing down card is the key. It's the key right there. Okay, now we're going to move on to these cards here, which is your sort of elevated outlook on this. And we got consciousness, elevated. It's as elevated as you can get. So now your higher self is on board, right? You started out here with this controlled mind, right? You taught yourself to let things be as they are. And then you taught yourself that slowing down is, even though it feels counterintuitive to proceeding forward, slowing down still is the key. And what did that bring you? But even a higher level of mental capacity, and which is your intuition, which is your higher self. And those are now on board to guide you forward. Now, with this, intuition lit up, the worry seems a lot less dim, right? Because now I'm on a higher plane. I'm seeing things from a higher perspective, and I'm allowing for what the universe needs me to know, to put in front of me. I'm allowing for that to show up. And then I will make decisions based on that elevated perspective. And internally here, the card that supports this higher consciousness, I got maturity. So there is a sense within you, and I love how that's right over the courage. This is the growth from the willingness to be vulnerable to the, okay, I can rely on my wisdom. I have enough life experience. I have enough, emotional maturity on board that I can trust these things. I can trust without too much fuss and worry that it's going to work out. And my higher self is there with me too. This is like, the best 1-2 punch you could have right here. This figure is just resting with no worry at all, right? It's the opposite of worry because of the knowledge that they've achieved and accumulated throughout life, knowing that, this is working out. It'll always work out in one way or another. And if I just allow myself to loosen my grip on the control, then I get to receive, all the rainbows and flowers, all the beauty that life has for me. And now your final card, and this is kind of like the outcome or the overview or the final message on this spread. Remember, we started with worry. You end up with playfulness. I love that. This is kind of like more of a lighthearted feeling. Once you've done that work of allowing your lower vibrations to kind of loosen up a little bit and allow your higher vibes to take over and guide you and kind of go, you know what, it's going to be fine. It's all going to work out. I know that it's worked out in the past up until now, whatever it is, all these different things that I've been challenged with. And I know that I can rely on that again, that the universe is working in concert with me to make this stuff, work for my highest good. If I trust in that, everything's easy and it becomes fun. There's less drama. There's just more upliftment and an easier path ahead, worry-free. I rarely worry anymore. I used to worry a lot, like a lot. Like family members have seen photos of me when I was young, like little, like 6, with this worry, like this look on my face, my brows all crunched, I was a worried child. There were circumstances in my life that, I knew about that made me feel like I could do something about it. It wasn't to do with me, but, maybe I could help somehow. And I took that on, but I hardly ever worry anymore because I just know, make a decision. If I made the wrong decision, I'll just make another decision, move away from it and move towards something else. So I don't really spend my time in that as much. And I get into situations where it's like, I can't see the answer. Like, I don't know how I'm going to move through this. This is tough, but I leave the worry behind and I just trust and move forward. So now I'm going to pull an extra card for you guys. One little message from the universe. It is actually Notes from the Universe. That's this deck. And yeah, so I'm going to pull a message for you and see, if it goes, it does, it actually goes along with it. I got, you have what it takes. You have what it takes to do this work, to do this soul expansion, to, in this particular reading, find a way to work around the worry that pops up, find a way to engage more in trust. You have what it takes to do all this work. And I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Taurus. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys soon.